Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today we've got another new product showcase show for you. Got some new things to talk about that you guys should want to keep on your radar. Let's jumpstart it all with the latest from Norway's awesome prog / hard rock / pop band, Magicpie, and their fifth studio album release, Fragments of the Fifth Element. All right. These guys have, they haven't been around a long time, but they tend to put out a great album and then, kind of play some live shows, but disappear for a couple of years, put together their next album. Every one of them has been awesome. I've gotten every Magicpie album, and they're all intense. Man, if you love, classic Deep Purple and Genesis and Pink Floyd and, maybe a little bit of Flower Kings and Spock's Beard and the Beatles and, kind of all these cool things wrapped into one. Dream Theater too, because they do a little bit of prog metal-y stuff, but they never go full-on prog metal. They're never straight on prog. They're never straight on hard rock, but they kind of use and abuse all those little genres to come up with their sound. Blistering guitar work, okay? Heavy riffs at times. Amazing keyboard work. The vocals are off the charts. Hooks galore in all their songs. So the new album's got 5 tracks, okay? The Man Who Had It All, PNC, Table for Two, Touched by an Angel, and The Hedonist. The Hedonist ends the album. That's their big epic. It's like 20 plus minutes long, 23 minutes long. Killer. A lot of great vocal melodies. Blistering keyboard and guitar exchanges, a lot heavy passages, softer passages, a killer epic. Touched by an Angel, which is the 4th track, kind of like a bluesy number, a little more atmospheric bluesy number, emotional piece, little bits of prog, but it's more of a blues track for them, a little bit different. Then you got Table for Two, catchy, quirky prog tune, right? PNC is like the intricate prog metal-y tune on the album, and then The Man Who Had It All, which starts the whole damn thing. Why did I go in the wrong order? I don't know. I just wanted to talk about the epic track first, and that's the last one, so I decided to work my way back. The Man Who Had It All, again, the big vocals, the proggy embellishments, the anthemic arrangements, kind of a little bit of everything from the Magicpie on here. I love the guitar playing, love the keyboard playing, the vocals are off the charts. It's just so, from the first listen, it's so memorable. It's going to be one of my favorites of the year, no doubt. Go check it out. The only thing about the album I don't like is I really don't like the cover art, guys. I know I've said that in my review on the website. I guess the colors are nice, but it's just the album art doesn't really do a lot for me. And the way it's kind of late. I mean, the band logo you can barely see because it's in white. It just gets washed out here. I don't know. It doesn't really do a lot for me. But the album itself, top notch. All right, next up. All right, normally when I do these shows, the new product shows, I usually talk about a lot of stuff that I think is really worth your attention, that's really good, that's totally floating my boat, right? But every now and then, I come across something that I review for the site, review here on the channel, that try as I may, just doesn't work for me, right? So here is a band that probably, if it's not the #1 most requested band from the viewers that want to know if I like them, will I talk about them? If it's not #1, it's #2 or 3. I have tried for decades to get into this band. At one point in time, I went and bought all their early discography up until like maybe the early 80s or something like that. And I listened to them and I'm like, God, I just can't get into this stuff. And so many people are like, oh my God, the band is brilliant. They're different. You just got to get used to it. Keep trying. And I kept trying. And eventually, after like 20 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm just not getting into these. I got rid of all of them. Okay? I tried. The band I'm talking about is Magma. Okay? This is their latest, called Zes, I guess. Zes. L'Or pour Néant, or however the hell they say it. Okay? So, Magma, all right, a French band who decided many years ago that they were going to make their albums kind of conceptual, and they were going to create a whole new language called Kobayan, Cobain, and they were going to, and they created a new language, and what they were going to do is on all their albums, they were going to sing in this new language they created, Cobain language. So their albums are littered with a lot of chanting and spoken word stuff, and all these choirs, people, singing and talking in words that none of us know, right? So the concepts of the album, who knows what the hell they're talking about. And the music, while the early stuff had a very jazzy feel to it, as they kind of moved on, I found that a lot of their musical arrangements are just very repetitive. Okay, and this album, the same, and this is even the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra actually they recorded the album with them, which gives certain spots of the album a very obviously big symphonic orchestral sound to it. But I still found, like most of the tunes on here, like from song to song, the same beats, the same grooves, the same piano, riffs, just very repetitive. And then you got the weird vocals going over top, and to me, it's overbearing. It's repetitive. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, I don't mind dissonant, complex, different music. I listen to a lot of stuff that's just kind of like off the beaten path. And I have tried for like I said, over 20 years to get this band, and I still don't. And, this to me, I listened to it a couple times, struggled through it a couple times. It just doesn't work for me. The band has been around now for 50 plus years. Christian Vander, Christian Vander, the leader of the band, is also the singer and drummer. Great drummer, by the way. I saw them live once. Amazing drummer. I walked out halfway through the performance because I just couldn't take it. Christian Vander does not play drums on this album, which I think is the first time ever that he has not played drums on an album by Magma. Though he does sing along with a bunch of other singers on the album. So again, if you're a Magma fan, I'm sure you got to have it. You probably love it. You're wondering why the hell this guy doesn't get it. I don't. I've tried, guys. I've tried. All right, from our friends at Moon June Records, a truly wonderful album from Mark Wingfield and Gary Husband, Tor and Vale, all instrumental, piano and guitar. Mr. Wingfield has been very busy in recent years. He's does an incredible guitar player. All right, he does a lot of like soundscapes and really kind of loopy guitar work. Kind of reminds me of David Torn and Terje Ripdahl type of player. He does all sorts of weird textures and soundscapes and blazing lines and all sorts of stuff around the piano work of Gary Husband, of course, who's played with everybody, whether as a drummer or as a pianist or keyboard player. And here the two of them have a couple tunes that they actually wrote out. The others are all extended improvisations. Wonderful stuff. Mr. Wingfield is quite a talent. I love listening to his guitar playing, and Gary Husband always delivers the goods, no matter who he's playing with, what he's playing on, what style or what instrument. This is a really cool album. Okay, if you're into kind of jazzy, kind of avant-garde type stuff, you're going to love this. Another winner from the Moon June, folks. Leo, man, you're delivering it all the time, my friend. All right, and another album, which I believe is being distributed by Moon June, but it's on a different label, is this thing called Nostalgia Progressiva. All right, which is basically a covers album from three guys. We got Maurizio Brunaud, Giorgio Licalzi, and Boris Savadelli. And basically what they've done is they've taken favorite tunes of theirs by King Crimson and the Beatles and what else? Robert Wyatt and Leorme and, whatever. And they've kind of done, we've talked to death over the years about covers albums or tribute albums where, bands and artists go in and they do note for note replicas of the original songs that don't add any originality to them. And it's just like, well, if you're going to do an exact, replication of a classic song, I'd rather just go listen to the classic song, right? But if you're going to do something different with these songs, that I can appreciate. That's what these three have done here. So we've got, so Maurizio is on acoustic, electric, and guitars and live sampling. Giorgio, trumpet, flugelhorn, keyboards, and electronics. And Boris on voices, electronics, vocal synth, 3D prototype, whatever all that is. Really interesting stuff. We got Formentera Lady, Mate Kudasai, Tomorrow Never Knows, Shipbuilding, Radioactivity, I Talk to the Wind, Starless, Taranaki, Moonchild, and Gyoko di Bimba. All right. Some household names, some not. But if you're the majority of the tunes are King Crimson songs, and if you like don't look at the track list and you put some of these on and put these tunes on, some of them it's going to be halfway through the song before you actually realize what it is. So it's kind of ambient electronic versions, kind of spacey versions of a lot of these tunes, and they basically put their own spin on the songs. They add a jazz element to a few of them. Talk about reimagining, right? It's and there's of course my phone, and I'll tell you what, guys, go check it out. Really interesting. Go sample it. It's my mother. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're here at YouTube every day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, guys. Got to talk to Mom. Bye bye.